Hello, hello, and welcome, community. Welcome to today's community event live on YouTube live stream. Happy Thursday to all of us. I hope you and yours are doing great. As always, we're always looking forward to these community events as they give us the opportunity to interact, give us the opportunity as an industry to learn more about our industry, learn about our ecosystem, and just the general financial market as a whole. Once more, those who are able to make it today, welcome. Always looking forward to have these sessions with you. As you see, the tweets are already out. All tweets are out already for BULLRUN, Killer Whale, Survivor. They're all out already. So as we are progressing throughout this session today, please feel free to engage with these tweets. As we know, one of our 4 pillars is education. So this just brings more awareness to us as an industry, not just our ecosystem, but as an industry brings awareness as an industry, and also, of course, to our ecosystem as well. We always look at education as the bridge between mainstream and the cryptocurrency space. Because we are so early in this space, there's so much that we still have to learn. And especially with the regulations now coming into place, a lot of dynamics are about to take place and take shape. With the FOMC meeting yesterday, we're going to discuss that briefly as well. So with that said, today's topic is tokenomics, Ethereum, the blockchain itself, staking platforms, and current events. And once more, welcome for those that are able to make it today. Always thrilled to have these sessions with you. So as always, we want to see who is here. Let's acknowledge those who are able to make it today. And right after doing that, we'll jump right into today's topic, as there's quite a bit to cover today. So none other than my great brother Theo. Greetings, my great brother Steve, dearest great Mama Wino, and my awesome BULLRUN family. Looking forward to having a wonderful session today with you all. Let's go. Always a pleasure reading from you, hearing from you, my great brother Theo. I hope you and yours are doing great. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for being part of this session today. It's always a pleasure. Queen Val says, hello, Bull Runners. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday back to you too, Queen Val. Hello, Mr. Steve. Hello, Queen Mother. So excited for today's topic. So are we. We're really looking forward to these topics today, as they really shed so much light into really what it means to be part of the ecosystem, be part of the blockchain technology and the possibilities that it carries along with it. So really looking forward to this topic today. Of course, like I said, Killer Whale is out, the tweet is out, a Survivor is out as well. So is the BULLRUN as well. So please feel free to interact with the tweets right away. And then, of course, for the new members of the community, feel free. We have this, our BULLRUN website, and we have our Telegram group as well. So feel free to ensure that you can engage with them. Killer Whale is here as well, and Survivor also. So join our Telegram groups. If you're new into the community, feel free to join our Telegram groups. Follow us on Twitter. We are very, very active on Twitter as well. So welcome for those who are brand new in the community. Queen Lati says, greetings, BULLRUN family. It's another exciting day as the great teacher unpacks the economics behind crypto space. Unpack it, my brother Steve, and cruise with us. Always a pleasure seeing you, Queen Lati. Thank you so much for your feedback. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Thanks for your commitment, your interactions, and your leadership. You're very much appreciated. Like we already said, Queen Val says even more, let's interact with these tweets as we are waiting for Mr. Steve to go live. Absolutely. Brother John says, hello all. Hello back to you as well. My brother Keto says, how are you, Steve? I'm doing great. Thank you, brother Keto. How are you? I hope you and yours are doing great. Nice having you here in this live stream today. My brother Cryptorizer is here as well. Always a pleasure seeing you, Cryptorizer. Hello, family. I'm glad to be a part of this amazing ecosystem. Once all the regulations get approved and the BULLRUN starts, will already be set up for success. Well said, brother Cryptorizer. Well said. And always a pleasure seeing you in the community, Cryptorizer. Thanks for your efforts, your commitment, for always showing up. You're very much appreciated. Queen Grace is here as well. Thank you, Mr. Steve, and our Queen Mother. Always grateful for the much knowledge, Steve, you instill in us. We are ready for another special day to learn more. You're very much appreciated as well, Queen Grace. Thank you for all your efforts, your commitment, your all that you do for the community. You're very much appreciated. And thank you. Always nice seeing you in the community and all social platforms as well. Queen Princess Mel is here as well. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday back to you as well. And let's hit the like button, family. Absolutely. This will help us to reach as many people as possible as this live stream is going on. And even after the live stream, it will help the algorithm to reach as many people as possible. And that's the whole idea of these sessions. With that said, community, let's get right to today's session, as we will start with the news, with the current events that have been going on right now in the space. And then we'll, after the news, then we'll start with today's topic, which is tokenomics, staking platforms, Ethereum, and so on and so forth. So if you could bear with me, let me share my screen so that we can get this going. So as always, we always have to start with the market. Let's look at the market. What's going on in the market? I know most of us are glued to CoinMarketCap, looking at what the market is doing. As we know, the market is very sentiment, very emotional. It's led by fear and greed. The index is at 58% right now. It says neutral. There's so much uncertainties going on in the space. There's a lot going on right now that we're about to look at, and we'll see how that literally affects the markets, not just the crypto industry, but also the stock market as well. And we're about to look at that in detail. We're going to look at the main stories, main events that are going on right now globally. So let's kickstart from there. As we see, Bitcoin is in the red. We are down more than 3% for within the last 24 hours. Bitcoin is below 67,000 again. Ethereum is below 3,500. This is very, very normal. You know, news affects a lot of things. And right now, people are really uncertain. There's a lot going on right now that are keeping everybody on their toes. And most of the people are just leaning towards getting into stable coins and just waiting and waiting what's happening, you know. But as we know, this is nothing unusual. We are just going through the phases. We're going through the motions. And with that said, let's get to the main events, the main topics. Like I said, FOMC meeting yesterday, the Fed's meeting, which took place yesterday on Wednesday. In a nutshell, without getting into so much news, because I'm sure most of us are already well informed. But the moral of the story was that the market reacted actually negative, because at the beginning of the year, when the Fed's meetings first started, we were expecting 3 interest rates cuts actually. However, since yesterday, the moral of the story is that the markets were expecting at least 3 cuts, right, in the US. But because Jerome Powell, the chair of the US Federal Reserve, hinted that there will be only 1 interest rate cut before the end of 2024, he was citing inflation, which is better than before. However, it's still above the central bank's target of 2%. So this, of course, also played a major role or influenced the markets negatively, obviously. And this is also what we saw that brought the markets down. And this is what is causing a lot of uncertainties as well in the markets. But for those that have been around in the industry, we are used to this. There's really nothing nothing new. And to see a market down 3%, that's really nothing. That's really nothing. It's not moving us. It's just another day at the office. So no room, no reason to panic or anything. It's just the way the markets work. We just understand that politics and markets, geopolitical events really affect our industry as well. And this is the reason why we really stress on education, because we need to know more than just what's trending on Twitter, which hashtags we should use for the trending tokens. But it's important to really understand and have a global, more general informed in education. And that's what we need for our ecosystem, for our community, because one of our 4 pillars is also social network, right? We want to build this global community of informed and educated and inspired individuals. So that's for yesterday. So we were expecting 3 cuts this year. Unfortunately, it's down to 1. And this, of course, caused a lot of panic in the industry, in the markets as well. Let's look at something else. This is also with BRICS now, right? This has to do with BRICS as well. So Saudi Arabia has ditched the US dollar. They had a 50-year agreement prior, back in 1974, on June 8th. Saudi Arabia and the US had completed an alliance that every purchaser, every client of Saudi Arabia that will be purchasing crude oil, oil, will be purchasing it in US dollar. And also in return of that, the US promised to supply equipments, military equipments, and also to back them as far as military-wise. So that was the agreement they had back in 1974 on June 8th. And this expired just 4 days ago, June 9th, after 50 years. And the Saudis decided not to renew the agreement because, like we know by now, Saudi Arabia now is also one of the BRICS, joined the BRICS as well, beginning of the year, beginning of 2024. So, and also the ruling prince right now in Saudi Arabia actually also declined the G7 meeting. He was invited to be part of the G7 meeting later this month, but he gladly declined not to be part of that. So like we said, Saudi plays a major role, and ditching the US dollar for petrodollar is a big deal. And this is also literally causing a lot of uncertainties within the industry. As we know, the US dollar is literally the global reserve currency, and whenever the US sneezes, the rest of the world catches cold, right? So whatever the US does, it affects the world on a global scale, because it's literally the global reserve currency. So this is why we always have to stay on top of the news, see what's happening, what's going on, because obviously we see it here, it affects us as well, right? So the more informed we are and about the global economy, geopolitics, and just the global news that is going on, it will give us a better understanding of why the market is reacting like this, right? So we won't just panic and be be fearful, be uncertain or doubtful, but we'll understand that, okay, all these geopolitics, all these what's going on in the global macro economy is affecting not just the crypto industry, but also the stock market as well. So with that said, let's go to something else again here. Russia literally halted all dollar and euro trades on Russia's biggest exchange due to new US sanctions once more. So US kept sanctioning Russia, and they decided that they will shut down trading in US dollars and euros as the leading financial market, which is Moscow's exchange, has been halted. That was yesterday, also on Wednesday. And in Russia, yesterday was a holiday, but still they put this notice out just to put the citizens at ease, and they just wanted to let the citizens know that their money is safe, and they shouldn't worry. Like if you have a dollar account or euro account, your money is safe. You can still transact US dollar and euro through your bank. However, on the national stock exchanges, there won't be no US dollar and euro trades any longer. So we see how this is really taking shape, and how this is getting really serious. With this, I mean like the BRICS uniting and just going against the violations or the use of dollar as supposed to sanction other nations, so these nations just came with an alliance, not to bring down the US dollar, but just to say that we're fearful of being sanctioned for random reasons. So we just want to create our own payment system through the BRICS, and also come up with our own currency, digital currency as well. And this is what we've been experiencing for the last weeks now, and it's being really this is getting serious now, that trades are now being halted in US dollar and in euros on Moscow's exchange. So like I said, yesterday was a holiday, and actually Dubai, the largest tower in Dubai, Burj Khalifa, in celebration of Russia, they actually light it up with Russian flag just to celebrate Russia Day. So you see, because UAE is also part of the BRICS nations, so that's just to show solidarity to Saudi Arabia and to help them also celebrate their national day. So that's another news that is also directly or indirectly affecting us, of course, as well. And then finally, one other one is the warships that we see, the Russian warships that arrived in Cuba. And we saw how Pentagon has been really downplaying this, but I really don't want us to get a wrong idea. Like we always say, when you get your information, we shouldn't make it sound like it's crazier than it really is. So what I want to highlight here is that Russian warships getting to Cuba is nothing new, right? This happens often, and this is also what was mentioned here as well, that it happens. It's nothing special because it happened multiple times over the last years. The U.S. military acknowledged that, and they also say that the U.S. they're tracking these ships, of course, as well. So we shouldn't be too panicked or too worried about World War III or something, God forbid, that is about to happen. It's something that is regular. It's nothing new, really. And also what I just want to highlight on this note is also that these warships don't have any nuclear powered submarine, any weapons on them, right? According to the news. And also they never entered US territory waters, right, as well. And like we said, the military said none of the ships carry nuclear weapons either, right? So, and also this is all in historical friendly ties between Cuba and the Russian Federation. So it's even the Cubans, they are not threatened by any means. And it's also fully consistent with the international rules. So Russians are not violating anything, and they don't have any weapons, right? Nuclear weapons on board or anything. So they're really no threat. They're just, and it's not the first time docking on Cuba or Savannah. It's something that has been happening for a few times. So I just don't want us to get things out of proportion, and when we hear such news, because obviously such news can be really scary, especially if we have families in the US, we have community members in the US, and then we read such news, so we hear such things, and then it can cause a lot of panic and fear. Just want us to understand that there are no violations or any international violations. There are no nuclear weapons in these submarines, nothing whatsoever. And it's not the first time. Last time was last year, actually in June. Same thing happened in Savannah as well. So with that said, I just wanted us to get this news out of the way, because it is what's really affecting the industry, the markets, right? And it was just important for us to actually just briefly go through these segments. I know most of us are already well informed about these. We are very informed and we are following the news. But nonetheless, for those that I didn't know, it's always good to go through the current events and the news of what's going on right now. So like we said, today's message or today's topic is tokenomics, Ethereum staking platforms, and current events, right? So we've cleared current events. Let's get to tokenomics, right? Ethereum and staking platforms. So in order to really understand tokenomics, I would always like to take a step back and really highlight one thing. I'd like to really highlight that, like you always say, economics is really easy. Economics is all about incentives. If the incentives are right, then a lot of people will be wanting to be part of that economy, right? But if the economics are not good, there's not much incentive. Not many of us will want to be part of it, right? And this is the reason why also we saw how many global reserve currencies prior to the US have ditched those prior global reserve currencies. Like we said, they were from the Dutch, from the Spanish, from the French, from the British, and then also the US now. And we see that once incentives are not as favorable, again, we don't want to be part of it. So anything that is any incentive that is good, sustainable, and is attractive, it's very good for the future. And this is what I really want us to highlight, because tokenomics literally stands for token economics. It's a mixed word between token and economics. And this article I want to share with you, it's a very, very informative article that I really want to just briefly go through with you. And hopefully it will really paint a clearer picture of what tokenomics is all about, and also the potential of tokenomics, the purpose of tokenomics, and how we really literally have a blank slate to create a new monetary system using tokenomics, using the blockchain technology. And this is something that really want to stress. And this is how we're supposed to look at tokens and ecosystems, with the eyes of what are its tokenomics, what are its token economy, because it says a lot about this. So let's kickstart. What is tokenomics and why is it important? And it states here, a big part of a crypto project's success can be attributed to its tokenomics. I believe we can all really agree with this, right? And but what does that term actually mean, right? So like we already explained, it's a mixed word between token and economics, right? So tokenomics, and literally what it is, it makes a particular cryptocurrency valuable and interesting to its investors, right? And that includes everything from token supply, how it's issued, to things like what utility it has, right? So these are things that we take so lightly, because we think that all we need to look for is just the meme coin with the greenest and tallest candles, right? And that's it. But it's so much deeper than this. We really need to understand so much more. So tokenomics is an important concept, right, to consider when making an investment decision, because it ultimately a project that has smart and well-designed incentives to buy and hold tokens for the long haul is more likely to outlast and do better than a project that hasn't built an ecosystem around its token. So this is another thing that we always say. It's one thing to just put out a random token, but it's a whole other thing to literally build an entire ecosystem around that token. Preferably one that is sustainable, preferably one that is efficient. And today, like we're going to also again revisit those 4 criteria that we touched on one of our community events, the attention, incentive, community, and sustainability. We discussed this on Monday during our Twitter space, and I'm going to briefly touch on it also as well, just for us to have a clear understanding. So it's important not to just come up with a simple token out there, but try to build an ecosystem around that token. A well-built platform often translates into higher demand over time as new investors flock to the project, which in turn boosts prices. In our ecosystem, we really stay away from talking about prices. Our focus is always on fundamentals, because if you focus on fundamentals and efficiencies, the challenges we face in the industry, and then like we'll talk about the 4 criteria that these 3 different token types are dealing with. We looked at governance tokens, utility, and meme tokens. We'll touch base on them again today, and because we're on YouTube, we can literally, I can share my screens and you can get to look at certain things much more clearer. So, but I just want us to understand that we focus heavily on these fundamentals, and you need to really have a solid understanding of the power of this blockchain technology. And this blockchain technology, especially on Ethereum, you can build complex structures. We are only limited by our imagination, by our creativity. That's the only limitations we have right now. And once we understand tokens and its economy, and we really tie those 2 things together, we as developers, we as community members, we can really be part of something beautiful. So likewise, when launching a project, founding members and developers need to consider the tokenomics of their native cryptocurrency carefully if their project is to attract investments and be successful. This is very, very important. This is what we just discussed. Tokenomics lay the foundation for any successful project. And this is why we always educate and inform on what to look for. And that's what we're going to look at later on. We're going to look at the 4 criteria so that we understand what to really look for. So let's move on. Core feature of a tokenomics, right? So the structure of a cryptocurrency's economy determines the incentives that encourage investors to buy and hold a specific coin or token, right? Like we said, economics is all about incentives. If the incentives are great, it encourages the investors to buy and hold, right, specific coin or token. If the incentives are not good, then that won't be the case, right? And we'll look at specific details shortly. So just like how fiat currencies are all different, each cryptocurrency has its own monetary policy. Many ecosystems, many projects in the crypto industry really don't understand this concept. And that's why I'm going to repeat this sentence. Just like fiat currencies are all different. Fiat currencies are different, right? There's euros, there's yen, there is dollars, right? There is all kinds of different currencies, and they all have different monetary systems. Some are more successful than others, right? And each cryptocurrency is the same, and they have their own monetary policy. They should have their own monetary policy, preferably one that is sustainable, efficient, and puts the community at heart, right? And focuses on the benefit of the community, the benefit of the 99%, like we always talk about. So tokenomics determine 2 things about a crypto economy. And this is what we really need to understand. Look at tokens as an economy. Look at tokens as ecosystems, right? And when you do your research, right, ensure that you study the token economy. And let's look at the 2 things that determine a token, a crypto economy. The incentives that set out how the token will be distributed. That's the one. How is the token distributed? That's very important. And then its utility. of the token that influences its demand, right? So supply and demand has a huge impact on the price, and the projects that get the incentives right can surge, right? And this is why if you focus on fundamentals, you don't have to worry about its value or price. You don't even have to discuss it because it's just a byproduct, right? As long as your fundamentals are strong, as long as your tokenomics, token economy is strong, you don't have to worry about supply, demand, price, all of that. It will just be byproduct, right? So I'd like us to look at some items here. And these are ways, this has to do now with staking, how to secure your network. Obviously, mining refers to Bitcoin, right? Because you literally have to mine. It's a proof of work concept. And staking is more Ethereum and other proof of stake blockchains. But nonetheless, both serve one purpose, right? It's to decentralize the network and to validate transactions and to secure the networks. That's basically it. So if you're on, if you hear mining, it's referred to Bitcoin mainly. And if you hear staking, it's Ethereum and other proof of stake networks. The bottom line here is whether mining or staking, is referring to decentralized networks and to how to validate and how to secure the networks. That's it, right? So here, new tokens are given to those who devote their computing power to discovering new blocks, right? So filling them with data and adding them to the blocks. So staking rewards those who fulfill a similar role, but by locking away a number of coins in a smart contract instead, right? And like we discussed, Ethereum is not there yet. However, this is how blockchain like Tezos operate, and it's the model that Ethereum's moving toward with its 2.0 upgrade. So, like we discussed, it's not the staking that is an issue, but rather, like we just said here, staking should be through a smart contract, right? It should be through a smart contract. You shouldn't be dealing with individuals. Where there's humans, there is error. And the blockchain technology is not about trust. It's trustless. So you should be able to interact solely with smart contracts instead, right? And that's where Ethereum is also moving towards in its 2.0 upgrade. So other things that we also should look for is something known as yields. So again, mining and staking is securing the network, bringing stability to the network, right? And stakers, those who are staking, are being rewarded, right? Because they are actually securing the network. And they're being rewarded through a staking platform that you're locking away a number of your tokens in a smart contract, right? So you're not interacting with humans, you're literally interacting with smart contracts. And you're assisting the network, the ecosystem, the token to be more stable, and you're bringing more security to the network, meaning the more staked tokens in that ecosystem, the more stable the ecosystem is, and the more secure it is as well. So yields refer to decentralized financial platforms, such as decentralized exchanges, and we're going to specifically look at this. This is Uniswap, for example, or lending platforms, which is Aave. We are going to look at these two projects respectively. So these yields are paid out in the form of new tokens, right? And these new tokens are native tokens. So in case of decentralized exchanges, Uniswap, if you stake Uniswap, you get paid, you get rewarded in Uniswap, right? Your staking rewards are in Uniswap. And same for Aave, the lending platform. When you stake Aave, your staking rewards are in Aave. You receive more Aave. And we're going to look at Aave's smart contract today, and we're going to look at Aave's, staking contract, and we're also going to look at Aave's rewards contract. We're going to see how much rewards they have today. So that's as far as yields. Now, if we get to token bans, right? Token bans, some blockchains or protocols ban tokens, right? Permanently removing them from circulating supply. Now, I need us to understand that there's a difference between circulating supply, right, and total supply, because token bans usually are removed permanently from circulating supply, right? And actually all of the tokens right now that are doing bans, usually it's from they remove tokens from circulating supply. However, how BULLRUN works and operates, we are literally removing tokens from total supply, right? And we're going to look at it much closer shortly. So to reduce the supply of coins in circulation, right? So banning removes or permanently removes tokens from circulation. And the whole idea is to reduce the supply of coins in circulation. According to the laws of supply and demand, reducing a token supply should help to support its price as the remaining tokens in circulation become more scarce, right? We should know about this now. It's always about supply and demand. And again, this is tokenomics. So once you have tokenomics in place, token economy that are efficient and sustainable, and that are incentivizing the holders, the community, individuals who want to be part of it. So as long as the incentives are good, are attractive, individuals will flock towards it. As long as it's not, then nobody will want to be part of it. So with that said, again, the banning is all about supply and demand, and it's all about how the remaining tokens in circulation become more scarce, right? So the Ethereum, on August 21, Ethereum started to ban a portion of their tokens, and instead of setting them, using their transaction fees for that, right? Instead of sending them to the miners. And because back then, Ethereum was still on a proof of work, just like Bitcoin is, but now it's a proof of stake. Now it's a whole different game now. Another thing we need to pay attention as far as tokenomics is limited versus unlimited supply, right? Limited supply is, for example, Bitcoin, right? You can't have more. There's no more than 21 million. So it's a limited supply. This tokenomics determines a token's maximum supply. Now we're talking about maximum supply, right? There's a circulating supply, there is total supply, and now we talk about maximum supply. So these are three different items. We're going to look at them in more detail when we get into CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. We're going to look at these items more clearly. But I just want us to understand that there's a difference between circulating supply, right? Total supply and maximum supply. So let's keep that in mind. So anyway, limited versus unlimited supply. Bitcoin is limited, 21 million. Ethereum, however, has no limit. It has an unlimited supply. And even though it's deflationary, as long as there's a lot of transactions going on the blockchain, it's deflationary, right? So it's literally, let me share this with you. This is where you see the health of Ethereum right now. So Ethereum hasn't been deflationary lately. As you see, this line, horizontal line, it's above, right? You see how Ethereum is above, and you see here, it's actually inflationary. The past 7 days, there are almost 9,000 Ethereum added into circulation. And this is the whole message here, right? There's the message here. Are you adding tokens into circulation, or are you removing them from circulation? And with token bans, the whole idea is to permanently remove tokens from circulation. And we went one step even further. We're not just removing tokens from circulation, because this is with Killer Whale and Survivor. Killer Whale and Survivor removes tokens permanently from circulating supply. Yes. BULLRUN actually removes tokens permanently from the total supply, not circulating, but total. We're going to look at that briefly. We're going to look at that shortly. So that's very important to understand, that there are limited supply tokens and unlimited. Pay attention to that when you're researching and looking at the tokenomics of a token that you're researching about. Always pay attention to that. Are the tokens limited or unlimited? Do they have banning mechanisms in place? If they have yields, are the yields sustainable? Where do these yields come from in the first place? Do they put aside tokens for that? And the staking part of it, how does it stake? Is there a locking period? Is there unlocking period? Where do these staking distributions come from? Are the staking distributions sustainable? You know, and all these things are very important. We should be asking ourselves. Another thing is token allocations. So as we know, some crypto projects account for a detailed distribution of tokens, right? Often, a certain number of tokens are reserved for venture capitalists, right, VCs, and or developers. But the catch is that they can sell those tokens only after a certain time. Now, that naturally has an effect on the circulating supply of the coin over time. And this is very important to understand. Why is it so important to understand the token allocations? Because let's say at the beginning, there's 100% of tokens supply, right? And now, usually, if you only put 5% out of the 100% in circulation, meaning you add liquidity to it, there's still 95% of the total supply out there. And this is what this article is saying. You have to be careful that these token allocations don't go to venture capitalists or developers, at least majority of them, right? And you also have to be careful because naturally this has a negative effect on the circulating supply, right? Ideally, this is why there's an ideally, a project's team will have implemented a system where tokens are distributed in such a way that it reduces the impact to the circulating supply and a token's price as much as possible. This means that if you ideally, developers will implement systems that there are not too many tokens outside of the liquidity pool that will negatively impact, right, the circulating supply. Because if you only put 10% in liquidity pool and you leave 90% out there that go to venture capitalists, these are whitelisted investors, right? These are like those who get in way before the liquidity pool and the sales even start. These are insiders or developers themselves. And now they having the majority of the tokens, they can then, of course, sell on everyone, right? And this will negatively impact, right? Negatively impact the circulating supply, right? And this is what you don't want. This is the reason why Killer Whale and Survivor tokens, we put 100% of the total supply is in the liquidity pool already. So we don't have to worry about a negative impact on the circulating supply. The whole supply is already in the liquidity pool. And because we have bans, right? What happens is that this literally, with every buy and sell, all the tokens are literally permanently removed from circulating supply. That's how mechanisms of Killer Whale and Survivor work. So we started with 100% of the supply already in the liquidity pool. So now with every buy and sell, our banning mechanism permanently removes these tokens from circulating supply. And this obviously has a good impact, okay? It reduces a token supply, should help support the price and remaining tokens in circulation and be more scarce. And that's exactly what's happening. So there is through this banning mechanism, Survivor token and Killer Whale token are becoming scarcer and scarcer due to us deploying 100% of the total supply, token supply, in the liquidity pool already. And this is what this says, that if you look at token allocations, make sure that majority of the tokens are in the liquidity pool and not out there in the hands of venture capitalists that got whitelisted or developers. That's the whole message. That's the whole takeaway. So who really decides about the token economy? I believe this question is really straightforward, because all these decisions are made on the protocol level, right? And most tokenomics are baked into a particular cryptocurrency's computer code by its founding developers, right? And this is the power that visionaries have. You can literally participate, and like we said, the only limitations we have right now is our imagination, right? Our creativity and our understanding and knowledge of economics, of tokens, of the challenges we face in the industry. Those are our limitations. If we are aware of those, we as developers, as founders, as community members, we should be able to identify and develop something that is so unique. Because like we learned today, every token, every cryptocurrency, look at it as it has its own monetary system. That's how we should look at ecosystems, as tokens. What type of a monetary system does it have? We just finished looking at these. Do they have staking platforms? What yields do they have? Do they have a banning mechanism? Do they have limited or unlimited supply? What are their token allocations? All these things are very important when deciding on which tokens that you want to go with, right? And this is not all. So before a cryptocurrency is released, obviously its tokenomics are often outlined, in a corresponding white paper, or right now you can actually go look at it on Etherscan, and we'll go look at it right now after a little bit, which is an in-depth document, etc., right? And it will also show you how the cryptocurrency will do, as well as how it and any underlying technology will work. And this is when you understand solidity, the language. But this is why people do audits. This is why audits are important, because audits literally write down what the cryptocurrency will do and how it and any underlying technology works. And this is why audits are very important, because most of us don't understand solidity. We can't read code, right? But let me show you. If you come here on Etherscan, you go to contract, right? And this is the code. This is the code right here. Does this tell you anything? You just see a bunch of codes, and most of us, I'm sure, won't understand or know, okay, what does this mean? What does this token do? What are its functionalities? I don't understand this, So this is why audits are very important, right? So if we go here and you don't understand the solidity language, no problem at all, because you can come here, and we have three audits actually. We have our token audits, and then we have our staking audit, and our minting audit, right? We have minting as well, NFT minting, and then we have staking, and then we have our token. So for example, let's come to our token audit, right? And here, in plain English, plain language, it tells you exactly what it does, right? It tells you what the owner can do. It tells you what the contract does, right? In plain English, it just explains to you what's in the code right now, right? What you see here and you don't understand, this is why audits are so important. So before you just jump into a project, you have no idea what the smart contracts are designed to do. Is it setting you up for a rug pull? Is it a honeypot? You don't know, right? So go through audits, and there's a independent third party. They'll write down exactly the functionalities of the smart contract. And this is for the token. We also have for the staking platform, right? This is for the NFT. This is for the NFT staking, right? And then, and also we have one for this is for the dual staking platform, like we have. So this just shows you here, you see the BULLRUN staking contract, and then we have the BULLRUN staking NFT contract. So these are two smart contracts that have been audited. One is for staking NFT, and one is for staking the BULLRUN token itself. It shows you here the contract allows users to purchase BULLRUN staking NFTs with their ETH, right? And USDC payments are transferred from, it tells you exactly what it does, right? And staking contract here as well. It tells you each staked NFT will increase your earnings by 6%. You can buy for up to 5 NFTs, everything. This is what the smart contract does. And this is what's very important. If you look at projects, do they have a solid state? Do they have? Have they been audited? Do they really do what the devs tell you that they're doing? Because you're not supposed to be trusting. In the blockchain technology, you don't trust. Always verify. If you can't verify, stay away from it, right? Stay away from it. And because that's the beauty of the blockchain technology, you should be able to verify yourself. You shouldn't be trusting anyone. Verify yourself. And if you can't, stay away from it. So this is where we are right now, right? As far as cryptocurrencies. So the game theory, crazy tokenomics and game theory. This is what we discussed earlier, right? The list above, like what we just spoke about earlier, is about the tokenomics. But that's just a start, because like we say, we are limited to our own creativity and our own vision that we want to have. With we, I mean visionaries, founders, developers, right? Cryptocurrencies are essentially a free pass to introduce any type of game theory that creators would like. It's up to us, and people don't understand this. Like in this crypto space, there's so many copy-paste. Many people just don't use their imagination. They don't use their creativity. Because to do that, it takes time. You have to understand economics, inflation, the challenges in the space. You have to understand tokens, how they work. You have to understand Solidity, the language, the programming language, and understand how you can develop something in a way that it literally is sustainable, it's unique, it stands out, and it hasn't been done before, you know? So to do that, of course, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of creativity, and the more complex the smart contract, the more expensive it gets, of course. So it's much easier to just go to a random token that doesn't have many functionalities and just copy paste it and move with it. That's why there's more meme coins than literally utility tokens, right? It's so much easier to just put out a meme coin because it doesn't have any utilities. It doesn't have to do anything. It doesn't have to do much. So the programming is so easy. It's very fast, right? You can create one in 5 minutes. And this is what's really plaguing the industry right now, but we'll get to that later. So many tokens are so-called utility tokens, right? This means that they have a specific purpose within a particular ecosystem. Remember how we discussed the three different types of tokens. There's a governance tokens, utility tokens, and meme tokens. So utility tokens have a meaning, right? They have a specific purpose within the ecosystem. And BULLRUN is obviously, it's a utility token because you can do things with it, right? And that's the difference. That's the real difference. So there's also something else known as game theory. There's another thing. So game theory is an economic concept that assumes that the traders are rational actors, right? And given certain incentives, will eventually settle on the optimal choice. So, but what we always say is we don't trust humans, right? This is why we have such a unique ecosystem right here, because humans will do what humans want to do, but smart contracts will do exactly what they're designed to do, right? They don't change their minds midway. They'll remain the way they were programmed to be. That's a beautiful thing. So this is why we have mechanisms in different levels, right? We have on a smart contract level, we have on a through the taxes, through the 6%, automatically with every buy and sell, bonds are happening, liquidity is being retained, and USDC distributions are being accumulated. This happens on a smart contract level. It doesn't need any human intervention. The 10% staked, same thing. This is on a protocol level too. The staking smart contract does what it does, right? It accumulates, as long as there's volume, it accumulates the USDC distributions, and we can use those USDC to buy back a survivor and killer whale, right? Or to compound BULLRUN. So, and another thing is these NFTs, right? So in order to boost, like we just saw, without these NFTs, you're only limited to 70% of your USDC distributions. So the only way to get to 100% of your USDC distributions, you need to, you can buy up to 5 of these, right? You can buy up to 5 of these and stake them. And the revenue generated from these NFTs go towards liquidity as well. So you see how our liquidity retention is not limited only on a smart contract level, buy and sell, but also on a staking level also, because there's another smart contract as well, like we saw. And we're not limited also to this alone, but also to the 10%, like I said. This is on another level too. This is how we also retain liquidity, through this 10%. And then, of course, we also have a community level, which is the bulldozer, right? And this is why we call this the home of the bulldozer. Bulldozer is you and I, right? If you and I decide to do what the protocol does, the smart contract does, right, which is this, then we are doing the same thing. We are compounding, we are adding liquidity to the system, we are generating volume. And imagine us being 100,000, 1 million community members, and we're doing what this one protocol is doing. We're on top of the world, right? So this is why I say trust is not needed. You don't have to trust humans. Humans will do whatever they want, right? Traders are not rational. They're not rational. We should know that. They'll do whatever they want to do. So we don't trust humans. We trust smart contracts. This is why we have smart contracts in place. We have 3 different smart contracts, right? This retains USDC. This accumulates. This one is another smart contract. It accumulates revenue through the sale of these NFTs. And then the third smart contract is on a token level. With every buy and sell, it burns, it retains liquidity, and it accumulates USDC. So we have 3 different smart contracts, and we are accumulating liquidity with 3 different smart contracts. So we don't have to rely on humans. We don't have to rely on the community members, because smart contracts do what they were supposed to do. However, humans, they can change their mind any minute, right? So in order to keep this ecosystem sustainable, and in order to keep it doing what it needs to do, this is why we have 3 different smart contracts, and they each accumulate liquidity in their own individual ways. But nonetheless, we still have bulldozer, which is you and me. We can decide to do what this smart contract is doing, right? And we do the same thing, but as a community now, not as an individual smart contract. And this is what makes this ecosystem so unique, so special. And this is why we said we are limited to our own imagination, right? As long as you're creative, you're imaginative, and you understand tokenomics, which is the token and economics, you understand the challenges that are in the space, and you're addressing them through the blockchain technology, this is what you're going to build. This is what you're going to develop, right? But people out there, it's important that we do this, because especially early on, while this is still fresh. Another thing I want us to really understand here as well is there's this something known as DAO, right? And DAO are for governance. Remember how we have governance, utility tokens, and meme tokens, right? So holders are able to vote on rules that define a cryptocurrency's economy by voting using tokens through decentralized autonomous organization, right? So these are so-called governance tokens. These are the governance tokens that we were talking about. So we'll also look at real example of a governance token. Then there's utility token. We'll look at an example of a utility token. And then, of course, a meme token as well. So we're about to finish here, so we can look at those 3 real examples. Okay, this is where it is. So DeFi platforms operate through DAOs, right? The name given to a governance system that relies on token governance. So like we said, holders can vote on anything, right? As of this writing, for instance, Uniswap, you see? Uniswap is a DAO, like it's a governance token. And we're about to look at it right now. And we'll look at Uniswap, we'll look at Aave. Aave is utility will represent utility tokens. And then we look at a meme token. We look at the largest one on Ethereum. And then this is how we're going to go through the 4 criteria that we discussed in our last community event. So community, this is what tokenomics is all about. In a nutshell, this is what it's all about. And if we move on, now let's start looking at specifics. We all understand that meme coins have been going on a frenzy, right? And there's nothing right now that is causing more hype than meme coins right now, especially on Solana, right? And this has brought about doubts, right? Because they say that meme coins, they have no utility, and they're really spoiling our reputation. With our reputation, I mean the industry's reputation, because people expect that utility tokens are supposed to be dominating the industry, right? The Uniswaps, the Oracles, the Aaves, they're the ones supposed to be taking over the markets, not some meme coins with zero utility, right? However, there's a reason why this is the case, because after all, more important than utility is the community, right? As long as you have a community that can rally behind a concept, an ecosystem, a strategy, a token economy, then you're in good shape. Because after all, a healthy economy is all about transactions and liquidity, right? However, the downfall of meme coins is that that's exactly what's missing. Meme coins have great communities. They give you that attention span. It's a short attention span. However, they have zero incentives, and they're not sustainable. So imagine if you can combine that. Combine meme coins, which are short attentions, community, and incentives and sustainability. If you can combine that, you have something beautiful. And we'll walk through these different tokens and we'll look at their pros and cons. So this just to highlight that community tokens are very, very vital for the ecosystems. For example, the Solana meme coin frenzy has seen several tokens rise to multi-million-dollar market caps within days. These are days. So you can be mad at meme coins, you can speak madly about them, and this is why you also see a lot of scams, because greedy investors attract very greedy con people, right? And not all of them are solid. Not every developer has great intentions for the community, right? Most of them, unfortunately, are fraudulent. So let's get somewhere with this. What I want us to understand is that as of April 1st, since April 1st, there have been meme coins over 1 million, right? New tokens launched. And half of them, there have been meme coins created on the Solana network, right? Nearly half of the 1 million have been created on our memes. So over 1 million new crypto tokens have been launched since April. Think about that. That's amazing. So how do you go about picking tokens if there are so many that are being launched and half of them are meme coins? Meme coins, right? On the Solana network. So how do you navigate through all of this? And this is where we came up with this strategy, because the crypto space is a wild west. There is no benchmark. There is no guidelines. So we had to come up with this concept on our own. And this concept is based on these 4 criteria that we spoke about on Monday. And I'll put out a video, look out for it tomorrow as well, about these 4 criteria, right? We talked about attention, incentive, community, and sustainability. So this is how you can navigate through these millions of tokens that are being launched since April, right? So you can make your informed and educated research, and based on these criteria, you can pick your token. So we looked at governance token, utility token, meme tokens, right? So let's look at Uniswap. Uniswap is a governance token, right? So let's look at Uniswap, and let's look at its pros and cons based on the 4 criteria. And we'll briefly just look at this. So if we want to go to Uniswap, let's come to Uniswap. Uniswap is a governance token, right? So that means that you can vote. If you have Uniswap token, you get to vote on various things within the Uniswap ecosystem. That's the whole purpose of holding these tokens. You get to vote, right? Obviously, many people are not into it. Many are not voting. And I believe it's also rigged, because those who hold the majority of the tokens can come together and they can vote for or against whatever they decide to do. So the whales always have the upper hand, because the more tokens you hold, the higher your votes, right? So anyway, governance token, one example of a governance token is the Uniswap token. What makes it so special? What's our governance token based on those 4 criteria? So if we judge Uniswap based on these 4 criteria, attention, incentive, community, and sustainability, let's kickstart. Uniswap is a governance token, and it's known that with this token, you can vote the direction of the ecosystem, right? So what does that mean for governance token? Basically, attention, let's start with attention. Attention, it's not attractive, okay? It's nothing special to be able to vote on the direction of where the ecosystem should go, because mainly the attention doesn't play a major role. However, those who are in the ecosystem for the long term, they're the ones that really will make the most out of this, right? They might use this token to help or to support vote on the direction of it. Like I said, the only thing with attention is humans have a very short attention span, for one. And secondly, those that have the majority of the tokens, usually it is let's look at the supply here. If we go here, we go to Uniswap, the token supply is not here. Usually if you go to Tokenomics, you'll see the distributions, right? So you see that investors got 18% of tokens, right? The team got 21%, right? And the remaining 60, they're not put out at once. They're actually put in a staking contract, and it's being issued slowly. So that means that from day one, it's the investors and the team that have the majority of the tokens, combined 40%, right? So what's the point of using this governance token? Because all the investors have to do, because investors and the team, they're all in one team, right? So the community can't win against the investors and the team. They have the majority of the tokens, so they can decide the future of the project. So this is why governance tokens really are they're not in high demand. The attentions they bring is not as high either. So incentive, what's your incentive? There's not much incentive either, because like you know, it's the team that usually have the majority of the token supply, and because it's based on the vote is based on the tokens, how much tokens you hold, it literally ends up going the way the investors and the team wants it to go. This is why the attention and incentives, those first 2 criteria doesn't play a major role. But the community, they're incentivized, because they're actually receiving staking distributions as well, right? And these staking distributions, are they sustainable? Usually, no. It's really not sustainable. Remember what we talked about. If the majority of the token are not in the liquidity pool, stay away from it. It's a bad thing, because this means that the supply is getting ready to be diluted. And if you have 40% going to the team and then 60 going to the community, that means there's only very, very little that is being put in the liquidity pool. So this token is literally going to be diluted. And if we go to the max, you see that that's exactly what happened, right? Since it hit its all-time high, it's been just dropping. It's been just dropping. And despite its high volume, right? It has a daily volume of over 274 million. However, it doesn't reflect it, because literally it doesn't solve the 4 challenges in the industry. It doesn't solve the challenge of lack of liquidity, inflation, right? And unsustainable staking distributions and efficient use of their volume. Obviously, they're not efficiently using this volume. This is why the chart looks like this, right? So this is your governance token. So as far as community, let's look at the community. Let's look at the community. How many holders do they have? They have 382,000 holders. So that's a great community. So community obviously is good, right, for this governance token. And then sustainability, like we said, it won't be sustainable simply because it's token distributions. We just saw how the token distributions are. A majority go to team and investors and advisors, 40% right away. And then the remaining are slowly injected into the, let's look at it. Let's go to Uniswap. Let's go here. Let's go to holders. And then you see here time lock. So 38%, you see it started at 60. Remember how it started at 60? Let's go back. It used to be 60% that goes to the community, right? And 40% is already with the investors, advisors, and the team. So right now, out of the 60, there is a time lock, right? There is now, where is it? There is now 38% left, right? 38% is left, and this goes as distributions. This goes as a staking rewards to those who are using the protocol, right? That's how it works. So slowly, this number is decreasing. It was 60% allocated to them, but now it's down to 38%. So it's depleting. Eventually it will run out, right? So this is what this is what it means. This is why we say that there's still 38% locked and being distributed out of the 60. However, the community, the team, the investors, the advisors, they already have 40%. So whatever they vote as far as governance, they are going to have their way. That's governance token. Let's look at utility token. In order to look at utility token, we need to go to Aave, right? Let's look at Aave. Aave is down here at 60. 68. Let's look at Aave. Aave is your typical utility token, meaning that you can stake Aave and you get even more Aave, right? So what is so interesting about the utility tokens based on these 4 criteria? Attention. Attention is there because usually these community tokens, they give you rewards, right? Let's go to Aave right here. Let's go to Aave. They give you rewards, right? If we go to launch, it's very attractive, and they tell you how much, they tell you if you go to staking, you see how much you'll get. They entice you. They tell you, okay, this is how much APR, this is how much rewards you will get. And these are the emissions. 820 Aave every day are being given as staking distributions, right? And this is how the attention is brought, especially early on. Usually the rewards are very high, the incentives are very attractive, And this brings attention, at least a short-term attention, to investors. So attention is here, and incentives are in staking incentives. And because it's a utility token, there are incentives as well. As far as community is concerned, let's look at Aave's community, right? Let's look at how many holders do they have. Keep in mind, Aave is the largest utility token as far as lending. If it comes to lending, Aave is the largest token. But why do they only have 168,000 holders? So you see how community are not large. Utility tokens usually don't have a large community, right? And we'll see that once we get to meme coins. Meme coins have like 10 times the size of communities of Aave. So Aave only has 168,000 holders, even though it's the largest staking platform in the industry, right? However, it has utility, and this utility is now the final question: is it sustainable? In order to answer this question, we need to look at the smart contract. And to do that, let's come over here. Let's look at Aave. And I want to show you this so that you can do this on your own. So if you come to CoinGecko, and you can only do this on CoinGecko. So come to CoinGecko, type in Aave. Once you go to Aave, you come down here, you see where it says circulating supply. So if you come here, first of all, we need to understand that, remember how we say there's circulating supply, right? And then there is total supply, and then there is max supply. So these are different items. So as we see here, Aave has a max supply, meaning at 16 million is the maximum supply you can have. Currently, the circulating supply is at 14,848,000, right? So this is very important. So they're about to get maxed out. They're about to, you remember how I told you Aave will run out of distributions? This is what we're going to look at right now. If you come here on circulating supply and click here, you'll see that there are two items. And one of them, the bottom one, is rewards, right? The rewards contract. So this is where you see how much rewards Aave still has. And as you see here, it says 819,000, right? And this number keeps shrinking because earlier it was 300, now it's 258. So this number keeps shrinking. Let's go to it. If you hit here, it will bring you right over here. And this is the contract. This is our staking contract. Like, this is our we also have a staking contract, right? But this is now Aave's staking contract. And you see how much tokens they've staked. But I want us to look at something else. If we go to Aave, let's go to holders, and let's see how many people are staking. What's the percentage of staked? You see here, staked Aave, right? So here, this is a staking contract. Let's see how much Aave is being staked right now. Only 17%. Why is the largest lending platform only 17% of Aave is being staked? This is a red flag, because this tells me many don't want to stake Aave. Why do you think that is the case? Why do you think nobody wants to, or not many people want to stake Aave? This is the reason why we talk about the fourth criteria, sustainability. It's not sustainable. And how is that the case? Let's look at it. Now we can go to the rewards. Remember how I wanted us to look at the rewards? Let's go to the rewards now. Aave's rewards. There's, you see, I opened this yesterday. It still says 820,000 Aave is left. But if I refresh right now, let's refresh. Remember, it was 120, right? Now it's down to 819. So this number keeps shrinking. They allocated Aave tokens in this smart contract. This is a smart contract. And this number keeps shrinking. So they put aside a certain amount of tokens, Aave tokens, and this number keeps reducing. It keeps shrinking every day, every hour. It goes down until eventually it will run out, and those who are staking Aave won't have staking rewards anymore. And this why it's not sustainable. First of all, because it's giving you Aave tokens, so it's inflationary, right? And secondly, it will run out eventually. And then once it runs out, there are no rewards anymore. So even there won't be stake, you won't have the incentive to stake Aave tokens anymore. So it won't be a utility token any longer, right? And this is what we mean with, okay, you might have the attention and the incentives early on, but is it sustainable? No, because eventually it will be short-lived. Eventually they will run out of this. And once they run out, what's next? How will you provide incentives to your community? And for a utility token, you don't have to, you shouldn't be running out of incentives. And if you have a staking platform, you shouldn't be running out of your incentives. Especially, let's look at the volume. Especially if you have over 100 million in daily volume, why would you run out of your staking distributions? So this is what we mean with inefficient. The market is so inefficient, but we'll get to inefficiency after we go through meme coin now. So we've gone through governance token, which was Uniswap. Now we've gone through Aave, which is utility token. We looked at how its staking supply is only 17% that is staked. Let's look how many, and Aave has been around for a very long time, right? Aave has been around it's the oldest lending platform. So again, 17% of the total supply is being staked. This is staked Aave, right? It's not it's inflationary. Who wants to stake an inflationary token? If you're a smart person and you understand inflation, you won't stake an inflationary token. That's why the percentage is so low, right? But if we look at BULLRUN, let's go to BULLRUN. Let's look at, if we go to holders, you see this is our staking platform. It's 54% right now. So 54% of BULLRUN token is staked. And we don't have 100 million in volume like they do, right? But we still have more staked than they do. So this is why we see the incentive is horrible with Aave. Nobody wants to stake Aave. Not many people want to stake a token that is inflationary, right? And that looks like this. Look at the chart. Even though you have 100 million in volume, you don't want to stake a token that is inflationary, and that eventually will run out of incentives, right? Eventually they will run out of incentives. This is Uniswap. Like we saw here, eventually Aave is going to run out because this number keeps shrinking, right? And you don't want that. So if you're about to run out of incentives and you're inflationary, not many people want to stake your token. So this is why we said we are the only staking platform that is literally deflationary, not deflationary, scarce. Maybe now you understand scarcity. We started with 1 million token in supply, 1 million, right? And if you look at Etherscan now, we are down to 969,000. So just below 970,000. So that means we've banned more than 3%, right? We've banned more than 3% of the supply, meaning we've banned more than 30,000 tokens that are banned so far. So we have a scarce supply. Remember how we were talking about circulating supply, total supply, max supply? We are on another level. We are on a fourth category. We are scarce. So that means with every buy and sell, our token is actually reducing in total supply. And there is no staking platform out there that does that. There is none. All staking platforms are inflationary. We looked at Uniswap. Uniswap is inflationary. Aave is inflationary. Every staking platform is inflationary. This is why we said when we were looking at tokenomics here, it's based on our own imaginations, right? Who decides It's us, right? It's in the hands of the founding developers. So the developers decide, right? And if you are creative, if you understand inflation, if you develop your protocol based on the 4 challenges in the industry, you will develop something that is fundamentally solid and not like this, that is inflationary, that is running out of supply. So if you have 100 million in volume and you're using our tokenomics, that 100 million in volume, let's look how much USDC it would give us, right? So this is 100 million. 1% of that is a million, right? So a million USDC in our staking distributions. We saw how right now our staking, there's how many left? There's how much left here? 69 million left, right? You see here 69 million is left. So that means in 70 days, with this volume, within 70 days, we will have generated the same amount like Aave has right now. But the only difference is ours, as long as we still have the volume going, we will never run out of the distributions. But eventually Aave's distribution, it will run out because they allocated a certain amount and they have a certain maximum supply, which is 16 million, right? And they're at 14,800,000 right now, right? And you see here that they only have 819,000 left as rewards. This is the rewards contract, right? Once this 819,000 tokens run out, there are no distributions anymore. It's not sustainable. And that's not the worst thing. It is inflationary. They're giving you their own tokens, and this makes this token inflationary, and their staking platform is inflationary. And this is why you see that based on the staking, many don't want to stake their token. This is why you see they're at 17%. Our staking is at what? 54% right now, right? And this is out of a bear market. This is when we haven't gone through a bull market yet. Nothing whatsoever. And we're already at 54% stake. So this just shows that the community has trust in the token, and that if you have great incentives, like we were talking about, economic incentives, it helps and it makes the token more attractive, and people will be more geared towards staking it, right? So now that we've discussed governance token, utility tokens, let's get to meme token. To get the meme token, let's get the largest meme token in the industry, right? Let's look at the pros and cons based on these 4 criteria. The 4 criteria, let's start with attention. So attention, meme tokens are all about attention. That's what meme tokens are all about. It's just grab attention, make the most noise on social medias, because as far as incentives, there is none, right? There is no incentives. There's no utility. Don't take my word for it. It's right here. Solana Meme Coins Frenzy raises questions about crypto utility, right? About crypto utility and reputation. So it's not me saying it. This is the industry saying it, right? So meme coins have no utility whatsoever. Their greatest weapon is attention and community. Those are the 2 things that they really thrive in. And let's not believe it, let's verify. Let's go and look at how many holders, as far as community, how large is the community? So you see here, if we look at community based on the holders, Shiba has 1.4, almost 1.4 million holders. This is insane. This is like 10 times, almost 10 times what Aave just had. Aave only had 168,000 holders. And it's a utility token, right? And here is a meme token with 0 utility, but they have 10 times, almost 10 times more community members, right? So what makes this so attractive is because attention, right? It's something that we all know Elon Musk talks about, right? It's a dog. Dog tokens do well. And Obviously, it's the largest one right now. It's a blue chip meme coin on the Ethereum blockchain, right? So attention is key and community are key. Those are the two things that go for meme coins. But what are the limitations? Incentives and sustainability. Once you've come in, you've been drawn in by the meme and you have their attention and you're part of this large community, what's the incentive for you to stay? What will keep you? What will keep you to be part of it? What's the incentive, right? And this is where the question remains, because it's not a governance token that you can vote and be like, okay, at least I can vote based on the direction I want this ecosystem to go. You can't. And utility wise, they don't have a sustainable functioning staking platform, or they don't have any, like, it's not a lending platform, or it's not an exchange that is being used heavily. They don't have that really, but what they have is the largest community, and they have the attention. They're a blue chip cryptocurrency, and this is what gets them going. Another thing they have besides 1.4 million holders is they have 400 million in daily volume. So they have a higher volume than both the largest governance token, Uniswap, and the largest utility token, Aave, combined. They literally have more volume, higher volume than those two combined. This just shows you again that meme tokens are literally here to stay. Community tokens are here to stay. The only thing we need to find out is how can we get these community tokens that have a large community and get people's short attention span? How can we have them have incentives, and how can we make them sustainable, right? If you can offer such a platform, such a community token to the masses, then you have something going for yourself. And this is exactly what the blockchain BULLRUN ecosystem is doing. And we'll get to that. So now that we've looked at that, let's look at a community. We looked at the community. They have a 1.4 million community. That's great. Incentive. What's the incentive, right? And then, is it sustainable? Why do we say it's not sustainable? Because if you don't have utility and the attention span the incentive is not there, you can't grab community's attention. That can be very dangerous, because already humans, we don't have a long attention span. And if the incentive is not there, remember, economics is all about incentive. If you have a attractive incentive, you will attract more people. And if your incentive is not attractive, then not many people want to be part of the ecosystem. That's just the nature of it. This is what brings community tokens down, right? No incentives, and they're not sustainable. But they have large communities, and they can grab your attention really, really quickly, right? And this is now where we need to really zoom in now and look at our ecosystem. We've zoomed out, looked at the industry, looked at the industry leaders. We looked at the largest meme coin. We looked at the largest governance token and the largest utility token. And we looked at their pros and cons, and we saw how all three of them are suffering from sustainability. Some give you the attention, some have the incentives, some have the large communities, but all three of them fail when it comes to sustainability and inefficiency. And this brings us now to the topic where we realize how inefficient this market really is. This industry is really inefficient as far as the volume. How can you have 400 million in volume and it's not retaining liquidity, right? It's not buying tokens, and it's not using it as USDC distributions to give back to the community, right? Just to make a point how inefficient this market is, if we take that volume, and we're not here to bash anything, we're just here to talk about, to inform and educate, that's all. So if we take 400 million times 1, so if we had the 400 million in volume in our ecosystem. This just to make the point how inefficient the industry is, how inefficient and unsustainable the market is, right? Because with 400 million, we would have 4 million, and this 4 million would go towards USDC stakers, those who are staking, right? Let's look at our staking platform. If you go and look at our staking platform, it's the large, this is right here. Let's look at the smart contract. Right now, like we say, the difference with Aave, you see how Aave has Aave token, right? Aave has, not this here. Aave has Aave tokens, right? It gives you Aave. If you stake Aave, you get Aave, right? But with BULLRUN, if you stake BULLRUN, you get USDC, right? So right now, if they were using our tokenomics with the 400 million in volume, like we saw right here, 400 million, that 400 million is, like we saw here, 4 million. So that means 4 million would be right here. 4 million USDC would be right here for you, the community. That's in one day. Every 24 hours, you'll be having 4 million USDC for those who decide to stake their BRL tokens, right? Now, this is in one day. Let's calculate for 1 month, right? If we did this for 1 month, that's 120 million. So in 1 month, our community would get so 1, 2, 3, that's 1.4 billion. So 1.4 billion dollars in USDC is going to come back to you, community. This is what you get for just staking your token, period. For just locking your token and putting it right here. So we'll have hundreds of millions, 1.4 billion in USDC right here. This is the smart contract, right? And you don't see BRL tokens as distributions, it's USDC, right? So this is the difference, and this is what makes us sustainable. And at the same time, we are scarce. We are a staking platform that is actually scarce. You see the supply, we were at 1 million. We started with 1 million in supply. Now we are below 970,000. And this number keeps shrinking. It keeps going down, right? And besides that, this number will keep going up because more and more, the more USDC distributions, obviously, and you can verify this. Everybody can just come and verify and check our smart contract. They'll come here and check, okay, this is a smart contract. Let's see, how much rewards do they have, right? They'll come and see here how much rewards we have. And if we have hundreds of millions just waiting for stakers, don't you think this is the real attention now? You know, this is how we'll get the attention from community members or outsiders. They'll be like, oh, that's the community that has hundreds of millions in USDC for those who just buy and stake that token. So that's how we give attention. Besides that, the other way we give attention is by, like I said, banning tokens, right? We'll be banning a lot of tokens. With every buy and sell, we are banning tokens. The supply keeps getting removed from total supply. And most importantly is liquidity, right? Imagine, let's go back again. We just calculated that in 1 year, this is just the rewards. This is the USDC distributions for staking, 1.4 billion. If we go to, let's go to Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin's liquidity. Bitcoin's liquidity is at 1.3 billion, right? So within 1 year, And this is not liquidity. This is just USDC distributions. This is what goes back to the community. 1.4. So what goes back to the community in 1 year is more than what Bitcoin has as liquidity. So the rewards to the community is more than the liquidity of Bitcoin after 15 years. And this is the largest cryptocurrency in the space right now. And we're not talking, this number is just distributions. This is staking distributions. Now let's look at volume. Let's look at liquidity. Let's compare apples to apples. So if we look at liquidity, we have to do this differently because liquidity is 3%, right? As you see, 3% goes to liquidity. So we have to redo the math. Again, we can use this number right here. 1% of 400 million is 4 million. However, we need to look at 3%. So that's 12 million. So that means in 1 day, 12 million worth of liquidity is being added to the liquidity pool, right? So if we come here, right now our liquidity is at 237,000. So based on the volume of this volume, and this is just within 24 hours. So in 1 day alone, we'll have 12 million added to the liquidity pool. 12 million. And if we come here and we look at Shiba, and we look at their liquidity right now, it's at 67 million, right? 67 million. And they have 448 million in volume. In 1 day, we will get 12 million, right? So let's look at, this is 1 day. Let's look at 30 days, 1 month. 360 million in liquidity. This is literally 6 times more than what they have. So in 1 month alone, based on our ecosystem, we will have, and based on this volume that they are having, keep in mind the topic here is inefficiency and unsustainability. So you see how the industry is inefficient. It's not efficient at all, and it's not sustainable. Within 6 days, less than 6 days actually, we will have the same amount. And within 1 month, we'll have 6 times more liquidity than they have. This just shows you how efficient our ecosystem is. And this is just 1 month, right? Let's look at 1 year. 4 billion, 1, 2, 3, that's 4.3 billion. We'll have 4.3 billion in liquidity in 1 year, 4.3 billion. Let's go back to Shiba. We would have 4.3 billion within 1 year in liquidity. And they're having 67 million in liquidity. In Shiba came out in 2021, so over 3 years, right? So actually 2020, May 2020. So just to say over 3 years, 67 million, and within 1 year, same volume, 4.3 billion. Now, that's not fair. Let's compare with the largest cryptocurrency. Let's look at Bitcoin, right? So with 400 million volume, within 1 year, we would have a liquidity of 4.3 billion, right? And how much does Bitcoin have? 1.3 billion. So we'll have 3 billion more than Bitcoin has in liquidity. 3 billion more than Bitcoin has. Keep in mind, we're talking about attention here. So we will be known as the token that has 3 billion more liquidity, basically 3 times more liquidity than Bitcoin, right? We'll be known as the token that has the most bonds, right? Is the most deflationary. We'll be known as the token that has the most staked tokens, right? And will be known as the token that has the deepest liquidity. So this is why we say when we talk about attention, our attention is not short-sighted. Our attention is not based on hype, is not based on short-term things, but is based on fundamentals, right? It's based on we're banning the most tokens, we have the most staked supply, we're giving out the most USDC staking incentives. We saw how we have over 1.4 billion just in staking rewards. That's insane. That's 360,000. That's insane. So I just want us to understand that as far as the 4 criteria, our ecosystem scores high on all 4 criteria. Attention, the way we bring attention is by banning the most. We'll have the more liquidity, 3 times more liquidity than Bitcoin has within a year, with the 400 million volume, let alone with the 25 billion volume. We don't even want to go there, right? So this is just to show how inefficient this market is, this industry is, and this is good for us because this will put us on the top. This just shows how, based on our tokenomics, remember how we were talking about tokenomics? This just shows you, and it's in the who decides, right? It's the founding developers. So what does this show you? That you need to really understand that you have to look at staking. Is it sustainable, right? What are the yields? Where do they come from? Do they have banning mechanisms? Are they being removed from circulating or total supply? Do you have a limited or unlimited supply? What are the token allocations? You need to answer all of these questions, right? And another thing that we looked at here as well that is very important is that a well-built platform often translates into higher demand over time, right? And as new investors flock to the project, which in turn boosts, we don't talk prices, we don't talk that. But likewise, when launching a project, founding members and developers need to consider the tokenomics and their native cryptocurrency carefully if the project is to attract investment and be successful. In order to do this, you have to understand the economy. You have to know tokenomics. You have to understand the challenges in the crypto space. We always talk about these 4 challenges: lack of liquidity, inflation, unsustainable staking distributions, and inefficient use of volume. We looked at Aave, we looked at Uniswap, we looked at how inefficient they are, right? How their staking is unsustainable, how inflationary they are. We looked at all of that, right? So it wasn't just talking, but we literally showed how their supply is shrinking. It's not sustainable, how inflationary they are, right? And how unsustainable our largest community token is, and how inefficient it is using its volume, right? And how it's not sustainable if you're not banning tokens, retaining liquidity, having a utility that is incentivizing the community that is 1.4 million large. You need to incentivize these community members. So these are just briefly very important items that we should look for, that we should pay attention to. And we understand that our economics is through incentives. If you have great incentives, you'll have people join your ecosystem, right? Just like we saw here, right? You'll attract investment and be successful. That's if you consider tokenomics, right? And the cryptocurrency and the native cryptocurrency carefully. You have to take your time, and you have to understand the markets, the challenges. You have to understand economics. You have to know the current monetary system, how inflationary it is, how you're losing purchasing power, and do things differently. What we need to understand also is that just like fiat currencies, right? Just like fiat currencies are all different. Each cryptocurrency has its own monetary policy. We always have to keep this in mind. cryptocurrencies, they have their own monetary policies. So what is the monetary policy of your tokenomics, of your favorite token, of your ecosystem, right? And we saw how these two things, right, determine the crypto economy. Incentives, right? They're set on how the token will be distributed, and utility. We just looked at that. If you don't have if you don't have incentives, utility, and sustainability, you can't accommodate such a large community. You can't. But if you do, and you have 3 smart contracts and the bulldozer effect, and you have 1 million, you throw in 1 million holders on this blockchain, on this platform, I'm not even going to speculate. I believe we are all informed and educated enough to understand the potential of that, right? We did the math already using this volume. We saw what numbers we'll be generating, right? These are astronomical numbers. There is no cryptocurrency out here, by the way, that has 4 billion in liquidity. There is none. So we would be the only cryptocurrency with a 4 billion in liquidity, just based on a 400 million volume, which they have, right? Which they have. So if they had our ecosystem, our tokenomics, they would be the ones holding a 4 billion liquidity right now. And if you have 4 billion in liquidity, you can imagine how much volume you will have, because usually the volume is higher than the liquidity. If you have 4 billion in liquidity, you probably have 10 times more volume. So 40 billion in volume. So that just shows you the potential of our ecosystem community. And that's where we're going to end. There's one more thing how I want to close this. Bear with me. There is, let's go, where was it? Let's close with this, community. There's a video I made, and what I want us to look at is just this. This video was made back in May 27, 2021, right? And this was when SHIB was being literally sold heavily. It was being dumped because it was considered a scam. It was literally considered a scam. So I made this video titled "The Rich Get Richer Because the Poor Think Every Opportunity is a Scam," right? So this was literally what the video was about, right? Just responding to the thoughts and everything. Keep in mind, May 27th, right? Let's go to May 27th. May 27th was right here. This is May 28th even. That it was dumping, right? It was on its way down. People were dumping SHIB because it was considered a scam. People were just selling off. It was just horrible, right? This is May 28th that you're looking at right now, right? And I made this video, it was May 27th. So one day before, it was people are selling off SHIB. And the moral of the story is 5 months later, to the day, 5 months later, actually, I can come here. You see all-time high right here. Let me actually zoom in. Let me zoom in so you can really see. Right here. All-time high is October 28th. So almost to the day, 5 months later, to the day, only 5 months later, Shiba went from being a scam to hitting all-time high, which was 42 billion market cap, right? And let's come back here and look at the chart. So you see this peak right here. This is October 28th, as you can see on the screen. This is exactly October 28th. So almost, the video was made May 27th, October 28th, 5 months later. It went from being a scam, to hitting 42 billion in market cap. And in between, you see how it was just flat. And then all of a sudden it just took off. Before you realize it, the bull cycle can be gone. And while people are screaming scam or still standing in sidelines, a lot of people had life-changing gains, right? So why am I pointing this out? It's just to highlight that this market is based on emotions. It's based on emotions. It's based on fear and greed. How can you tackle, how can you cooperate, how can you handle fear and greed? Is by being informed and educated, right? If you're informed and educated, you're not moved by fear and greed, but you're making rational, informed and educated decisions. This is what this session was all about. We discussed governance, utility, meme tokens. We gave you the 4 criteria. We talked about tokenomics, what to look for. We looked at Aave staking contract. We looked at all the pros and cons. We looked at the inefficiency of the industry. We looked at how incentives drive economies. And we looked at how tokenomics play a major role, right? And we are built on top of Ethereum, which is a deflationary blockchain, right? So the whole message today is just that let's remain informed, let's remain educated. And I just want us to understand that we really need to keep ourselves informed and educated. This is the only thing that will keep us from making irrational decisions by being fearful or too greedy, right? And we need to really take things for what they are and not just what the media puts out there. And as a community, one of our 4 pillars is education. So this is very important for us to really understand that our main purpose is to empower, to equip, enable, inform, inspire, educate the community. Because once you do that, and once you hear that, it's important that we really are aware of what's going on in the industry. And community, let me share, let me put my screen back here as we are closing out. I really just want us to understand the impact that tokenomics have, how important they are, how we should really understand efficiency of the use of volume, how we should do our research based on the 4 criteria that we discussed: attention, incentive, community, and sustainability. We looked at governance, utility, and meme tokens, and we all understand that it is the meme tokens, the community tokens, that are literally shaping our industries, bring awareness to the blockchain technology, bringing the liquidity, the volume. And now what we need to find out is a way how to bring utility and incentives and sustainability onto these meme tokens. And this is exactly what the BULLRUN ecosystem is all about, because we are built from day one to address the 4 challenges. We meet the 4 criteria as well. We are a very scarce staking platform that has sustainable staking distributions. And there is no other scarce, let alone deflationary staking platform out there. And this is what sets us apart, because it's a win-win for the traders and the holders. So this is what today's topic is all about. I hope we understand tokenomics much better. I hope we really understand the criteria much better. And we need to really appreciate that. And the message at the end that I said here was literally that if you don't believe in SHIB and you think it's a scam, sell your tokens. Get out of the community. But for those who really believe in it and its movement, we'll have a life-changing occasion, right? And 5 months later, those who are still holding SHIB, those who are still holding SHIB literally were part of one of the best bull cycles ever, right? So is it luck? Were they lucky, right? Were the ones who sold unlucky? These are just lucky people, right? Wrong. It's about being informed. It's about being patient. And it's about understanding what you're getting involved with. Understand things, you know, and be an individual that really appreciates an ecosystem, appreciates the fundamentals, and looks at things from a larger scale, right? So this is it for today, community. We've been going for a while now, over 2 hours. I just want to thank all of you once more for participating today. We can't close out without coming back to you and check with you. Let's see your comments. Queen Awino says, greetings, Queens and Kings. Glad to connect with you all this Thursday. Wonderful Thursday. Liquidity is the bloodline of an ecosystem. Thanks, Steve, for developing a project with the community in mind. Absolutely. Very well said, Mom. This is the most important part, is to really develop something, use our imagination, our creativity, and understanding of economics, tokenomics, and the industry to develop something that benefits the majority, right? Benefits the community. So that's very true. We always have the community's best interest in mind. Brother Glenn says, Grand Risings, everyone. Hope all is well. 30K tokens are gone from the BRL total supply. Let's go. Absolutely. We've banned 30,000 tokens that we'll not see again anytime soon. Warm greetings to you all. Warm greetings back to you too, my brother Abdullah. It's always a pleasure seeing you in the community. Always a pleasure reading your comments. You're putting so much effort and time into them. They're very constructive. They're very informative. Thank you very much for your contributions. Queen Patricia is here as well. Queen Patricia, it's a pleasure also having you in the community. Thank you for your efforts. And I'm glad to always see you in the community. Good evening, family. Glad to join and to learn more from our dedicated Steve. Thank you, Steve, and stay blessed and protected always. May you also stay blessed, Queen Patricia. I'm glad to see you here today because tomorrow European Cup and South American Cup is starting, so I'm not sure how often I'll see you. Hopefully, I'll still be seeing you around. Let me know what team you're rooting for, so I'll know. Queen Cozy is here as well. Greetings, BULLRUN family. Looking forward to an exciting educational session. I'm glad to be part of an ecosystem with the best tokenomics. Beautifully said, Queen Cozy. Always a pleasure seeing you in the community as well. Thank you for all your efforts and your consistency. And we're also happy to have you in the community as well. Our brother Glenn is here. My question is, with the bulldozer holding 100,000 BRL, is it, and it's been doing buybacks when volume was up, meaning that there is more than 100,000 BRL now staked within. So can you generate volume, those, ban those and keep? No, we're not doing that, because in order to do that, we would be taking staking distributions, USDC from the community. And we were not having sufficient and consistent USDC distributions back then. So we have not once taken any USDC from there, because so far we've not gone through a bull run. We're not having like consistent volume enough to really be able to do that. So no, that's not the case. We left the USDC to the community, because if we would have been taking it, we would have cleared all the USDC distributions. That's not the point, right? So that will take place once we have consistent volume, high volume consistently. And like we said, the community is always at heart. We rather have the community have the USDC distributions than having the 10% supply take it and do a one-time buyback and then it's gone, right? So no, there was not enough USDC there to really do that yet on a consistent basis. But once we get there, that's exactly what's going to happen. The bulldozer staking at 100K and away, and always ban the buybacks. Yes, exactly. Like that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. When we looked at tokenomics, when you ban, you don't want to throw back the tokens in circulation. So it's we're not going to like sell those tokens. It's just about compounding. That's it. This is what the bulldozer effect is all about, right? The bulldozer effect is that the community understanding the compounding effect that it has, and they are compounding individually with their own distributions. They'll be doing what the 10% on which is a staking contract, right? It's staking. That 10% is being staked, and it does what the community would be doing if they decide to do so. But because we don't trust, we verify. We want humans can change their minds every time, and we don't want our platform to be jeopardized because based on humans' decision. We need our platform to do what it needs to do, and what our platform does is in the best interest of the ecosystem, the community, the buyers and the traders. I mean, the stakers and the traders. So in order to keep that equilibrium, in order to that will benefit our ecosystem and its growth, we had to put those 3 different smart contracts in to ensure sustainability. So whatever humans do, if they want to sell, they want to whatever they want to do, it doesn't make a difference, because our smart contracts will keep our ecosystem steady and where it needs to be. So in simple terms, instead of increasing the bulldozer staking amount, generate volume by taking the extra BRL and do buy and sell to generate. No, we're not doing any sales. Again, that's not the point. We're removing tokens from circulating supply and through staking. And we do that in combination with banning, which removes tokens from total supply. So the whole point of this 10% is to remove tokens from circulating supply, and the whole point of banning is to remove tokens from total supply. That is a simple supply and demand mechanism. And if your total supply is shrinking, your circulating supply is being locked away, and the demand for the token is there, you can add the rest. And that's the whole purpose. That's the whole idea. We're not thinking of selling. And we've answered this question before. There's no sales going on with this 10%, right? There is no selling going on. The community can do that, but the bulldozer doesn't do that. This is why we say we have an adult in the room that understands how the ecosystem works, and that adult is a smart contract, and that adult has 10% of the supply and does what the ecosystem needs to work to operate properly. And that's exactly what's happening to keep and maintain sustainability in our ecosystem. That's how our ecosystem works. We have my brother Franklin here. Good day, brothers and sisters. It is a pleasure and soothing to hear my brother Steve's voice. The pleasure is ours as well. Always glad to see you, brother Franklin. We've missed you. You've been gone for a while, but we are glad to have you back in the community. My brother George is here too. Great and enlightening presentation, a project envisioned beyond horizon. Thank you very much, brother George. It's a pleasure seeing you in the community. It's very, I'm very glad to have you here as well. We have Queen Nancy here as well. Good evening, BRL community. Hello, Steve. I believe everyone was inspired and learned a lot from today's YouTube session. We appreciate your dedication and hard work, Steve. BRL to the moon and beyond. Thank you so much, Queen Nancy. Always a pleasure seeing you here as well. Thank you for your efforts, your leadership, your commitment as well, and your consistency. My great brother Theo, always a pleasure reading from you. My great brother Steve, thank you for this fantastic session. and also for giving us the necessary info and tools to navigate this wild, wild west of this crypto space outside of our safe BRL borders. Beautifully said, Brother Theo. My great brother Theo, well said. We always need to have tools and see how, we can support and give tools to the community so that we can make informed and educated decisions and are not led by fear and greed. Queen Val says, let's hit the like button. Let's engage with the like button, as this will bring us awareness, to our industry and our ecosystem as well. Queen Wangechi says, thanks, Steve, for your support and your efforts to equip us to be better. I'm glad to be here. We are very glad to have you here too, Queen Wangechi. It's a pleasure having you here. Welcome to the ecosystem. Welcome to the community. Brother Dave says, thanks for the very informative session today. We're right at 58.5% liquidity to market cap ratio. This is very impressive. This is very nice. Thanks for the calculation, Brother Dave. We have Queen Cynthia here as well. Very educative indeed. Pleasure having you in the community, Queen Cynthia. It's a pleasure that you're taking part of this session today. We have Queen Patricia here as well. I hope the Republic of Ireland will do well. But I know it's a huge task. Might end up with Portugal and England. Really? I'm surprised you don't talk about France or Germany, actually, the host country. But yeah, maybe Portugal will do good too. England, they might do good too. They really might do well. So they have a good young team as well. So I'm curious. Let's keep going, Queen Patricia. Let's see who will take the cup home. But thanks for the feedback. Princess Mel, thank you so much. I learned much. I'm new here, but now I feel like I'm here for years. It's a pleasure having you here, Princess Mel. Thank you so much for being part of this ecosystem. We welcome you wholeheartedly. Feel right at home. I hope you joined all our Telegram groups and you're following us on Twitter, as we are very active. And thank you for taking your time on this Thursday to be part of this session today. Welcome home and feel right at home. But I really need guidance to learn more. We have many sessions, like 4 times a week. 3 times on Monday. Actually, we have 4 times, which is Monday, Wednesday. We have Monday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Those are the 4 times that we have. Sunday is for the Queens. They have a Zoom session as well. And we have 3 times weekly events, like I said, Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays as well. And besides that, Zoom is usually open on a daily basis. And if you want to, if you're on Telegram and you need guidance as well, you can just write in the group that I need some support, and we have admins that will be happy to jump on VC with you on Telegram and support you as well. But we always aim to have Zoom open. And besides that, we have these 4 weekly events, like I said, on Mondays. Mondays is on Twitter Space. And then we have Thursdays, today is on YouTube. Saturdays is on VC on Telegram. And then Sundays on Zoom. But that's just dedicated to the queens, to the ladies in the industry, in the ecosystem. So you have ample time. So take your time and you'll be able to slowly get into it. And also, meanwhile, we have a lot of recordings. So you can go through our Twitter pages. We have a lot of Twitter spaces that we recorded. On our Telegram groups, we have many recordings as well, VCs. On our YouTube channel here, you can follow us on subscribe to the channel as well. We have many videos as well that you can also take your time and listen to. But besides that, you have many options, to get up to speed on this. So welcome once more to the community. Thank you too, Princess Mel. It's a pleasure having you in the community. My brother Glenn says, I'll ask the question live. It's broken up, so you're not seeing the whole question. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking forward to that. We can do that on Saturday then, because that's a better platform anyway, where we can have direct dialogue. So I'm looking forward to that, brother Glenn. With that said, community, thank you so much for all of you for participating and for showing up in such a great number. It's been a pleasure today with all of you. So thank you for being part of this beautiful session. We've gone way beyond 2 hours, but it's not about time. It's about giving out the information that is needed. I hope this session was informative, educational, and inspirational to all of you. And I believe that those that are not with us live today will be able to re-listen to it and have a good takeaway from it. With that said, community, once more, thank you everyone for being part of this session today. It's been a pleasure for me. I always enjoyed these sessions very, very much. My brother, Uncle George says, hi, Steve, and our dedicated community at large. Thanks for your very enlightening session today. Thank you so much, Uncle George. You're very much appreciated for your efforts, your commitment. Thank you for your encouragement and all the dedication that you put in, the work you put in for the community. With that said, community, I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Looking forward to see you latest by Saturday. Brother Glenn, looking forward to that question that we can discuss. And with that said, I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you soon again. Thank you for engaging with the tweets. Don't forget to also like, comment, retweet this live again that we just had, as it will boost the video and it will get to as many people as possible. And that's the whole idea. With that said, from my side, I wish you all a wonderful rest of your week. And let's keep in touch. Let's see you again latest on Saturday on our Telegram VC. Bye-bye, everyone, and see you soon.